Thanks, Gleb. I'm not trying to start any beef with any of the other people giving talks today. I think data version control, DVC is actually a really cool tool. It's nice to meet all y'all. Thanks for having me. I've only got 7 minutes, so I'm going to talk really fast and try to rip through this conversation. If y'all have, how do I change slides? There we go. If y'all have any questions or ever want to reach out, you can always hit me up on Twitter. My name is Michael Kaminsky, data science and analytics engineer by training. Been working in the data space for a very long time in a bunch of different capacities. Really excited to chat with y'all today. To motivate this talk, I want to first ask the question, what is the goal of doing data science? Why are we here? Why are we working at the companies that we're working at? Is it to learn new skills, earn more money in the next job? Is it to be able to cook our food on our laptop while we're training models? Is it to impress other data scientists at conferences? Is it to sound really smart in meetings? No, of course not. That's not why we're here. The reason why we're here as data scientists in any organization is to create business value, right? That's just like every other team and every other person in the company that we're working with, except the thing that we do maybe a little bit differently is that we're using data to do it. But this is hard, right? It's hard to be a data scientist. It's hard to create value in an organization. And it's hard for a couple of sort of reasons that are unique to data science. So the first reason is that it's just right there in the name, right? Science means it's experimental. It means a lot of times the work that we're doing is pushing the limits of what's been done before, either at our organization or in the world more broadly. Sometimes we don't even know what's possible until we try it, right? It means that a lot of times we have this idea about, maybe we can predict this thing and then use that to make our customers' lives better, but we don't know if doing the prediction is possible, and we don't know if our customers will like it at all if we even can go out and build this thing successfully, right? So we're working in this world of very high uncertainty. Uncertainty piled on uncertainty, uncertainty about the science part, uncertainty about our ability to build a model that does the thing that we want it to do, and then uncertainty about the product part, right? Even if we can go and build this thing, is it a thing that our customers are going to find useful and valuable? And so that makes it really hard to plan to figure out what is it that we should actually go and do to deliver that value. So what do we do about this, right? How do we think about this problem? The way that I think about it, right, as a person who sort of is thinking a lot about how to structure and manage data science teams, is how do we optimize the expected value of the potential data science projects that we have to work on, right? If I'm a data science leader and I'm looking at all of the potential projects that my team can go work on, I want to maximize this expected value of all of these different data science projects. The wrong way to do this, right, would be to think about this. Think about all of these different ideas in one meeting on January 1st at the beginning of the year, choose all of those projects, then go work on them for the whole year, right? That would not work out very well. And the reason why is that we can actually do better by planning on learning over time, by trying to gain more certainty about the potential benefit and the potential sort of likelihood of completing all of these different projects, right? And so we can actually think about this as more like an explore and exploit problem, right? Just like we're familiar with in other contexts, we can actually think about this as sort of the meta problem in our data science team management. What we want to do is make forward progress on high expected value projects, while also simultaneously learning more about which of the potential products we have very high expected value, have a high likelihood of being completable or possible at all. So I've taken a lot of the ideas about data science from this book called The Lean Startup, very famous by this guy, Eric Ries, where he sort of talks about the strategies for getting value out of working in a startup, right? And he makes the point that startups are highly uncertain, but the advantage that they have the ability to move fast and pivot from idea to different idea. And so the way that startups can actually get to the point of delivering value is through this idea of validated learning, through strategically and systematically experimenting on what features actually drive customer value, and then using those hypotheses to direct the business. And so very quickly, you're going to run through a lot of different ideas, try them out, see what customers like, and then move on to the next thing. And once you find something that works, then you focus on that. And I think data science teams, in a lot of cases, should actually think about working using this methodology. So that brings us to lean data science. In my philosophy, I sort of base this practice of lean data science on 3 things, right? So the first is to make sure that we're measuring business outcomes and not model performance. One way that data science teams go wrong is by locking themselves in the ivory tower and focusing too much on just their model performance and not how that model is going to be used out in the real world, how you're actually going to drive business value as a team, right? So instead of just focusing on precision and recall, you need to be making sure that all of your data science projects are leveling up to a business metric, a KPI that actually matters to the business. Increased revenue, increased retention, increased order size, whatever those things are, we need to be making sure that as data scientists that we're making sure that our work is having an impact not just on the area under the curve, right, but actually on the broader world, on actually making our customers' lives better, right? And so get out from the model metrics and make sure that we're leveling up to the business metrics. 2 is to ship early and often. As data scientists, especially those of us that come from a background in academia, we're used to sort of a slower pace of life, maybe thinking a lot more about a research-oriented type of work as opposed to a product shipping type of work. My belief is that as data scientists, we need to push ourselves to ship our products earlier than we feel comfortable, right? It should be a little bit uncomfortable, the work that we're doing. If we feel like a model is really ready, then we've waited too long to ship it. Right, so we need to be thinking about what is the minimum viable product, what is the sort of worst model that we can possibly put out in front of customers and still get some benefit out of it, right? That's going to help us learn more about what might work and what might not, and where the actual value is going to come from our data science program. And then finally, we have to embrace failure and accept good enough, right? We're scientists, right? We are running a lot of experiments. We have to accept that some of those experiments won't work out. And that's fine. If we try a project and it seems like, oh, we're not going to be able to get good enough predictions fast enough, we should abandon that project, potentially come back to it later, but instead focus our time on the projects that actually are going to deliver a lot of value, right? So we need to do that sort of our own psychological work to be able to accept that, but also communicate that to our stakeholders and our bosses, right? We're not going to hit every pitch out of the park. We need to make sure that we're communicating effectively that, yes, we are going to fail sometimes as data scientists, but the process that we're going to use in order to deliver the most company value is by trying a lot of different things and making forward progress on the different projects that actually deliver a lot of value. That's all my time. Thank you all very much. Really appreciate it. Hit me up on Twitter or in the Locally Optimistic Slack channel or whatever. Always happy to talk data stuff. Thank you. Gleb?